Today is February 14th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. For those of you here in the States, I'm not sure if they celebrate Valentine's Day in other countries, but they do here. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Today we are going to be reading pages 148 and 150 of the Big Book. That would be actually finishing up chapter 10 of Two Employers. And we're also going to be reading page 67, the bottom 67, and 68 of the 12 and 12. And that's all about step 6. So with all that, my friends, let's get right to the good stuff. Top of page 148 of the Big Book. Your junior executive may not agree with the contents of our book. He need not and often should not show it to his alcoholic prospect. But at least he will understand the problem and no longer be misled by ordinary promises. He will be able to take a position with such a man which is eminently fair and square. He will have no further reason for covering up an alcoholic employee. It boils down to this. No man should be fired just because he is alcoholic. If he wants to stop, he should be afforded a real chance. If he cannot or does not want to stop, he should be discharged. The exceptions are few. We think this method of approach will accomplish several things. It will permit the rehabilitation of good men. At the same time, you will feel no reluctance to rid yourself of those who cannot or will not stop. Alcoholism may be causing your organization considerable damage in its waste of time, men, and reputation. We hope our suggestions will help you plug up this sometimes serious leak. We think we are sensible when we urge that you stop this waste and give your worthwhile man a chance. The other day, an approach was made to the vice president of a large industrial concern. He remarked, "I'm mighty glad you fellows got over your drinking, but the policy of this company is not to interfere with the habits of our employees. If a man drinks so much that his job suffers, we fire him. I don't see how you can be of any help to us, for as you see, we don't have any alcoholic problem." This same company spends millions for research every year. Their cost of production is figured to a fine decimal point. They have recreational facilities. There is company insurance. There is a real interest, both humanitarian and business, in the well-being of employees. But alcoholism, well, they just don't believe they have it. Perhaps this is a typical attitude. We who collectively have seen a great deal of business life, at least from the alcoholic angle, had to smile at this gentleman's sincere opinion. He might be shocked if he knew how much alcoholism is costing his organization a year. That company may harbor many actual potential alcoholics. We believe that managers of large enterprises often have little idea how prevalent this problem is. Even if you feel your organization has no alcoholic problem, it might pay to take another look down the line. You may make some interesting discoveries. Of course, this chapter refers to alcoholics, sick people, deranged men. What our friend, the vice president, had in mind was the habitual or whoopee drinker. As to them, his policy is undoubtedly sound, but he did not distinguish between such people and the alcoholic. It is not expected that an alcoholic employee will receive a disproportionate amount of time and attention. He should not be made a favorite. The right kind of man, the kind who recovers, will not want this sort of thing. He will not impose. Far from it. He will work like the devil and thank you to his dying day. Today, I own a little company. There are 2 alcoholic employees who produce as much as 5 normal salesmen. But why not? They have a new attitude, and they have been saved from a living death. I have enjoyed every moment spent in getting them straightened out. And there's an asterisk at the end of this of how you can get in touch with AA on page 573 of the Big Book if you want to check that out, my friends. So with all that, let's jump right into the 12 and 12. So the last couple of days we've been talking about in step 6 how it is a challenge to give every single defective character to our higher power, or to be entirely ready, I should say, to give every single one of our defects to our higher power. I know it's certainly been a challenge for me. I mean, I admitted some of the struggles that I go through. But But the 12 and 12 has talked about specifically the feeling of superiority, talked about self-righteous anger. Yesterday we read about gluttony. So now we're on the bottom of page 67. We're going to read 67 and part of 68 today. Page 67. Some people, of course, may conclude that they are indeed ready to have all such defects taken from them. But even these people, if they construct a list of still milder defects, will be obliged to admit that they prefer to hang on to at least some of them. Therefore, it seems plain that few of us can quickly or easily become ready to aim at spiritual and moral perfection. We want to settle for only as much perfection as will get us by in life, according, of course, to our various and sundry ideas of what will get us by. So the difference between the boys and the men is the difference between striving for a self-determined objective and for the perfect objective which is of God. Many will at once ask, how can we accept the entire implication of step 6? Why, that is perfection. This sounds like a hard question, but practically speaking, it isn't. Only step 1, where we made the 100% admission that we were powerless over alcohol, can be practiced with absolute perfection. The remaining 11 steps state perfect ideals. They are goals toward which we look, the measuring sticks by which we estimate our progress. Seen in this light, step 6 is still difficult, but not at all impossible. The only urgent thing is that we make a beginning and keep trying. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Man, I'm so grateful for that last paragraph. I'll be honest with you all, I didn't read the 12 and 12 until much later. I'd read the big book first, and step 6 intimidated me. And there wasn't, from what I remember, there's not a lot of paragraphs about step 6 in the big book. And I guess I thought, well, I gotta do this perfectly. I gotta be rigorously honest, which I do. I also have to be absolutely perfect and thorough in these steps. And this one haunted me. I was like, I don't know how to do that. So when I read this chapter, a while later, it really kind of gave me some relief because of course I should be striving, but I'm never going to be perfect. For me, I just need to keep working at it. And I love how they mention how step 1 should be the only one we should get 100% right. Because how can I ever build something if I don't have that firm foundation of admitting that I can't mess around with alcohol ever again, that I am powerless over it, that my life was truly unmanageable? So I love this. The remaining 11 steps state perfect ideals. They're goals toward which we look, the measuring sticks by which we estimate our progress. So I can say this out of my own experience. My higher power has certainly helped me with a lot more than just the alcohol obsession over the years, but I still got a long way to go and a lot of things to still work on. And I'm grateful that my higher power is very patient and shows me grace as I work through these. And I just have to do my part. And for me, that is to continue to work these steps daily, to pray, and to get right back on the horse when I mess up. I try to keep it simple. When I do something wrong, or when I hurt somebody's feelings, I pray to my higher power for forgiveness. I see what corrective measures need to be taken. I get right back on the horse. I don't drift into worry or remorse or anything like that. I get right back on the horse and I keep going. Because for me, I don't know why I've always been this way, but time is so short in life. And I have spent years beating myself up with self-hatred and everything else. I have spent years doing that, thinking I'm not good enough. And I'm not wasting any more time with that. I just make the amends I need to make. I try to learn from the experience. I rely on God's grace and forgiveness. And I try to help somebody else. That's what the big book teaches me to do. If I'm obsessed with myself, whether it's positive or negative, for me, it was mainly negative. I'm of no use to anybody else because I'm only thinking of myself. So again, I just try to ask for forgiveness, pray to see what kind of corrective measures I need to take next time, and I try to help somebody else. Get right back on the horse, right back in the lifeboat of recovery, and try to help somebody else. All right, my friends, thank you so much for letting me ramble for a little bit. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, happy Valentine's Day, and I am looking forward to seeing you back here in this Lifeboat of Recovery tomorrow.